The bright lights of the television studio hummed with a quiet intensity, casting a brilliant glow over the polished floor and the vibrant set pieces that had become iconic to audiences across the nation. Behind the scenes, the air was thick with the scent of hairspray, expensive cologne, and the palpable nervous energy of three couples waiting for their lives to be put under a playful microscope. This was the stage where secrets were shared, laughter was guaranteed, and the strength of marital bonds was tested for the entertainment of millions. The heavy velvet curtains stood ready, and the audience buzzed with anticipation, their murmurs creating a rhythmic backdrop to the ticking clock of the production crew. Suddenly, the upbeat theme music swelled, echoing through the rafters and signaling the start of something special. Out from the wings stepped a man with an effortless smile and a charisma that filled every corner of the room. Gary Kroeger, the host whose warmth could put even the most anxious contestant at ease, approached the center of the stage. He adjusted his jacket, took a deep breath of the electrified air, and looked directly into the camera lens with a sparkle in his eyes that promised a morning of pure joy. One of these brides wants to make love to her husband while on a washing machine set on spin dry. Gary began, his voice carrying a mischievous undertone that immediately caught the attention of every person in the studio. He paused for dramatic effect, letting the provocative and humorous thought linger in the air. Which one is it? Well, her husband is about to find out, and so are you, because it is time to play the newlywed game. The applause broke out like a sudden summer thunderstorm, loud and enthusiastic. Gary beamed, gesturing to the set behind him. Hi, I am Gary Kroeger, and welcome to the Newlywed Game. Today we are going to meet three brand new, wonderful couples, and we will discover just how well they know each other. The game is simple. I will ask each couple questions about each other. Every correct answer earns points. The couple with the most points wins a wonderful second honeymoon. What do you say? Let us meet our first couple. From the left side of the stage, a young couple walked out hand in hand, looking every bit the picture of modern success. She is 27 years old. He is 30 years old. Together they own their own financial service, and they have been married for 1 year and 1 month. Please meet Felicia and Napoleon Provence. Gary announced. Felicia wore a bright, confident smile, while Napoleon looked at her with a mixture of pride and slight apprehension about what the game might reveal. Welcome, Gary said warmly. Good luck to you. The second couple followed, moving with a graceful coordination. Next, she is a 29-year-old research analyst. He is a 32-year-old assistant athletic director at the University of Southern California. They have been married for 8 months. Please meet Teresa and Mark Ryan. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Good luck to you. Teresa waved to a group of supporters in the front row, her eyes bright with competitive spirit, while Mark gave a firm, athletic nod to the host. Finally, the third couple emerged, radiating a sense of calm and maturity. She is a 35-year-old yoga instructor. He is a 39-year-old business consultant. They have been married for just 2 months. Please meet Megan and Gary McCarver. Welcome. Welcome. Good luck to you. Megan moved with the fluidity of her profession, and her husband, Gary, seemed to hang on her every word. A big round of applause for all of today's newlyweds. The crowd roared once more, and the energy in the room reached a fever pitch. Gary Kroeger turned to the 3 women, who were seated on a comfortable sofa, separated from their husbands for the first round of the competition. You guys ready? All right. Now, ladies, before the show, we took some time with your husbands, and we videotaped them. Now, Megan, I am going to ask you to look at this monitor behind me, and I want you to take a look at what Gary had to say. The screen flickered to life, showing Gary McCarver sitting in a quiet room. To get myself out of hot water, I usually bribe my wife with. The video cut out abruptly, leaving the answer a mystery. Gary Kroeger turned back to Megan. Now, we stopped the tape right there, because for 10 points, I want you to finish Gary's sentence. Megan bit her lip, thinking back to the times she had been annoyed with her husband. Food. She said with a small laugh. Gary Kroeger checked his notes. Okay. Let us see what he said. The tape played again. Gary McCarver's voice filled the room. Chocolate kisses. Gary Kroeger tilted his head. Close. Close. It is edible. Close. All right. He moved on to the next bride, who was sitting with her back straight and a focused expression. Teresa, I am going to ask you to do the same thing. Take a look at Mark. On the screen, Mark Ryan appeared, looking slightly sheepish. The worst present my wife ever bought me was. Again, the tape went black. Teresa did not hesitate. She seemed to know exactly what had missed the mark in their short marriage. A sweater. She guessed. The monitor revealed Mark's answer, this big, thick, heavy sweater. Gary Kroger pointed at the scoreboard as it chimed. Close. All right, Felicia, are you getting yourself together there? Yes, I am ready. Felicia replied, her voice filled with a playful energy. You ready to play? Gary asked. Yes. Let us watch Napoleon. Napoleon appeared on the screen, rubbing the back of his neck as if anticipating trouble. The one thing we can't talk about without fighting is. Felicia laughed before the tape even stopped. Open up the mail, I guess. She said, shaking her head. The tape played on, and Napoleon's voice echoed, changing her last name to mine. The audience gasped and laughed. Oh, my God! Gary Kroger exclaimed, looking at Felicia. I am guessing you didn't want to change your name. I hyphenated. Felicia explained with a shrug of her shoulders. Well, that is a nice compromise. You happy with that, Napoleon? Gary asked, looking toward the husband's booth. Definitely not. Napoleon shouted back, his voice thick with a humorous grumpiness. Am I starting a little fight here? Gary joked, raising his eyebrows. No, no, no. Felicia assured him, though her eyes promised a long conversation later. Okay, guess what? Gary continued, turning the focus. We also videotaped the ladies, so, Napoleon, let us try to make some points by looking at Felicia. The screen showed Felicia Provence smiling brightly. When it comes to my husband's body, I like to fix his. Napoleon looked confident. Hair. He said, smoothing down his own perfectly styled hair. Your hair. The tape revealed Felicia's true answer. Pimples. The audience erupted in a mixture of you and laughter. Napoleon's face turned a shade of pink. Gary Kroger moved to the next husband. Mark. There is Teresa. Teresa appeared on the screen, looking serious. I can never trust my husband with her credit card. Mark answered instantly, a grin spreading across his face. The tape confirmed, the credit card. Hey. All right. Gary Kroger cheered as the Ryans' score increased. You know what I love about this? This is definitely the 90s. She can't trust you with her credit card. I like that. All right, Gary, let us look at Megan. Megan McCarver's face filled the screen. The dumbest thing my husband asked me to wear when we were having sex was. Gary McCarver looked thoughtful, scratching his chin. Dumbest thing, gah. It is probably a black see-through bodysuit thing. Gary Kroger whistled. That is pretty specific. Yeah, that is very specific. Gary McCarver agreed. Okay, black see-through bodysuit thing. Yeah. The tape played Megan's answer, a tacky teddy. Gary Kroger shook his head. That is not a teddy. It is a tacky thing, see-through thing. Well, it was very close. It was very. Well, we will get there. We are not tearing up the scoreboard here, although the Ryans have 10 points. You are on the board. I am encouraged. We are going to come back with more points right after this. The show moved into a commercial break, but the energy in the studio remained high. When the red light of the camera turned back on, Gary Kroger was standing closer to the couples, ready to delve into the stories of how these lives had become intertwined. Welcome back to the Newlywed Game. Now, Gary, I heard that you met Megan while working at a singles club. No, Gary McCarver corrected him, leaning forward. It was at a Christmas singles party, and I was helping out, and I saw her at the counter helping with tickets, and I kind of flirted with her a little bit. In the background, Megan was already shaking her head, her hand making a thumbs-down gesture. That is not true at all. She interrupted with a laugh. That is not true at all. I was sitting at this table, welcoming people in, and I was working, and also looking out for some nice, handsome guys, and he came up with this little reindeer and started, like, flirting with all the women and saying, "Oh, you look beautiful. Oh, look at your legs. Oh, what nice shoes." And I was like, this guy, he is going to make a great daddy. I want him. The audience oohed at the sweetness of her sudden realization. And to this day, Meghan continued, he denies that he was there to meet women. He always says he is working into the kitchen. But it is. You weren't working. Gary Kroeger teased the husband. You were cruising, right? He was totally cruising. Meghan insisted. But, hey, it worked. She saw in you the potential of a good husband. I was no cruiser. Gary McCarver defended himself, though he was smiling. I did well. You did very well. Gary Kroeger agreed. Way to go. It was excellent. Now, Teresa, Mark proposed to you in a very romantic place, right? Teresa gave a dry, hilarious look to the camera. Hey, it was a really cool parking lot. It was a nice parking lot, but it was a parking lot. A parking lot where? Gary asked, intrigued by the lack of traditional romance. Above a parking garage. Mark explained, trying to salvage his reputation. I was like, no, we were going to a comedy club for her birthday. It just happened to be the right place. It was the time. Okay, so you are a man that seizes the moment. Gary summarized. Exactly. Mark agreed. All right, you should get credit for that, then. Gary said before turning to the first couple. Now, Felicia, you didn't make it to your honeymoon. You almost didn't make it to your honeymoon. Aha. Felicia nodded vigorously. Well, Napoleon did not have his birth certificate at the airlines. You need to have your birth certificate or you can't go to St. Martin's. And I told him 1001 times, bring your birth certificate. So I called up his mama, and his mother had to come and bring his birth certificate. And then we got to go. The audience let out a collective "oh" for the helpful mother-in-law. Gary Kroeger smiled at Napoleon. Or, your mother came and brought it. Well, you had other things on your mind, right? That was it. Napoleon admitted, looking a bit embarrassed but grateful. You know, with all the running around and all the last-minute stuff to do, just forgot it. It happens. Gary consoled him. At the bottom line, just forgot it. It happens. Now, right now, only the Ryans are on the board with 10 points. The rest of you. You have got some fans there. You are going to make that up now. Gary Kroeger moved to the center of the stage, ready to ramp up the competition. Now, here is what is going to happen. I am going to ask each of you a multiple-choice question. Now, it is up to you to guess which of the 3 answers I give you your mate already said. Each correct answer is 10 points. Felicia, I am going to start with you. If Napoleon were to give you a title, it would be Princess, Queen, or a royal pain in the butt. Felicia squinted, weighing her options. Should I? She whispered to herself. Yeah, you should answer. Queen. Gary Kroeger winced slightly as he revealed the answer. Ooh. A royal pain in the butt. Ooh. The audience reacted with a mix of shock and humor. Oh, my God. Felicia cried out, looking at Napoleon. What is wrong with you? Well, all right, moving on. Gary said quickly to diffuse the tension. Teresa, we asked Mark if he found a $20 bill in the couch after you just had friends over. What would he do? Would he call your friends to see who lost it, wait to see if anyone mentions it, or keep the cash? Keep the cash, Teresa said without a second of hesitation. Mark nodded in agreement. Yes. That is money. Gary Kroeger laughed. All right. Meghan, what kind of a face did Gary say you have first thing in the morning? A kissy face, a funny face, or a face only a mother could love? Kissy face. Meghan said hopefully. Yes. Gary Kroeger announced. What is a kissy face? Gary McCarver leaned in to explain the morning ritual. She is an early bird, and I am a night owl, so in the morning it is like, zing, good morning, and I am just, hello, hi, hello. That must be pleasant to wake up to. Gary Kroeger remarked. All right, guys, we are going to turn this around. Gary, when you have company over for dinner, what did Meghan